In today's WrestleHavoc Daily, we're going to be talking about plans being scrapped for Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania season. We're also going to be talking about Mercedes Moné and how she's slated to return in March and not with WWE, plus details behind Jordynne Grace's appearance at the Royal Rumble. We're also going to be talking about details behind the status of Andrade and Naomi ever since their return to the Royal Rumble with WWE. All this and much more right here on WrestleHavoc Daily. What's up, everybody? It is yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, and this is WrestleHavoc Daily. Before we get on with all this craziness in the world of professional wrestling, please make sure to like and subscribe to the WrestleHavoc channel right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the freaking referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, follow me on social media on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Also, if you guys had missed it, please check out my Royal Rumble review. The link will be in the description below. In our first story, we're going to be talking about Brock Lesnar and his plans being scrapped for WrestleMania season. I'm reading this from F4W Online and, of course, the people of the Wrestling Observer. WWE had big plans for Brock Lesnar. The 46-year-old was originally scheduled for the men's Royal Rumble match on Saturday. However, following Lesnar being mentioned in the recent lawsuit filed against WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis, the decision was made for him to be withdrawn from the match. Had Lesnar not been removed from the Rumble, WWE was planning on him wrestling Dominic Mysterio at the Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia, as first reported by Post Wrestling and later confirmed by Dave Meltzer in Sunday's update. Mysterio had been set to eliminate Lesnar from the Royal Rumble on Saturday, a role which will eventually be given to Braun Breaker. Lesnar was then scheduled to wrestle Gunther at WrestleMania 40. What are my thoughts on Brock Lesnar and his plans being scrapped for the Royal Rumble and as well as WrestleMania? This was pretty much expected. Of course, the recent allegations on Vince McMahon was the big topic around last week, and it was the big story last week, and the allegations against Vince McMahon were very, very, very horrific. And of course, there was mentioned that another person involved was a WWE superstar and a former UFC heavyweight champion, and a lot of people are assuming that that is Brock Lesnar. And also in the article by the Wall Street Journal, Brock Lesnar's name was mentioned. It was pretty much expected. If Brock Lesnar's name was mentioned on those allegations, I think it's pretty much safe to say that WWE really wants to distance themselves from Brock Lesnar at the moment. Not to say Brock Lesnar did those things, but a lot of people are assuming that it is Brock Lesnar, being the guy that was, of course, the WWE superstar and the former UFC heavyweight champion. WWE and TKO are a publicly traded company, and they want to protect the best interests for the company. And I mean, it was definitely the right move to really remove Brock Lesnar, as well as remove all plans for Brock Lesnar at the moment right now for WrestleMania, because the matter of Vince McMahon right now is the situation that TKO is really looking into. Of course, recently Vince McMahon resigned from TKO, and they are taking action very quickly, and they are taking these allegations very seriously. So those are my thoughts on Brock Lesnar. In our next story, we're going to be talking about Mercedes Moné. Of course, Mercedes Moné is one of the biggest free agents in all of professional wrestling right now, and a lot of people expected her to show up at the Royal Rumble, but I hate to burst your bubble, but she did not show up at the Royal Rumble. I'm reading this from SEScoops.com, and the original source is PW Insider. To provide an update on the situation, PW Insider has reported that Mercedes Moné will be back working in pro wrestling by March and quote-unquote not for WWE. This may disappoint some WWE fans, but at least she will be seen enough. Although it was not explicitly stated, the current thought is that Mercedes Moné is going to end up in AEW. That debut obviously has not happened yet. AEW Revolution will be taking place March 3rd at the Greensboro Coliseum. The event will see Sting's final match, but it also may include Mercedes Moné debut for the company if the reports line up. There were a lot of reports regarding Mercedes Moné if she was going to be returning at the Royal Rumble this past Saturday. Fightful actually posted a update regarding Mercedes Moné, and they stated this, and I quote, "When Fightful asked a WWE source about the possibility of Mercedes Moné in the Royal Rumble, one said, and I quote, 'Well, we're not really interested in contract tampering with her, so I doubt it.'" If a WWE source stated that they are not interested in contract tampering, I think it's obvious where Mercedes Moné is going to land. Overall thoughts on this, I think it's obvious that Mercedes Moné is headed to AEW. Of course, a lot of people expected her to show up at the Royal Rumble this past Saturday, and from what it looks like, of course, since she didn't show up at the Royal Rumble, I think she has her sights set with AEW, and AEW has really been the front runner to land Mercedes Moné throughout the past month of January, and they are still the front runner to land Mercedes Moné. AEW is going after a lot of free agents, if you really think about it. They already signed Will Ospreay. They're definitely going to go after Kazuchika Okada once his contract with New Japan is up in a couple of days, so clearly I do see AEW signing Kazuchika Okada, and the fact that they're probably going to sign Mercedes Moné, and from what it looks like right now is a done deal, it is a steal and a big get for AEW at a time where WWE right now has a lot of momentum, and AEW, if you really think about it, is ice cold right now, and they could really use a lot of momentum, and the fact that they're probably going to bring in Mercedes is definitely the boost that AEW 100% needs. In our next story, we're going to be talking about Jordynne Grace, of course, the current TNA Knockouts champion. She recently was an entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble match this past Saturday. Fightful has provided us with details behind Jordynne Grace's Royal Rumble spot. TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace was at the show as a major surprise. Fightful had learned that WWE reached out to outside companies about potential Royal Rumble surprise entrants. Fightful has been told that WWE contacted TNA this past weekend to inquire, and everything went through TNA. Grace is still signed with TNA. Fightful has been told that Grace has had a physical and blood work on Monday, and then flew to Florida on Thursday to participate in Royal Rumble rehearsals. For some within TNA, who said that they heard that there was a possibility earlier this month when there were broader WWE/TNA rumors. Those that Fightful has spoken to in WWE said both TNA and Jordynne Grace were easy to deal with and were accommodating during the process. This is the second ever time that the Knockouts champion made an appearance at the Royal Rumble. The first time was, of course, 2 years ago with Mickie James showing up at the Royal Rumble, but this seemed a little bit different considering, if you really think about it, Jordynne Grace is not really known within the casual WWE audience or the general WWE audience. With Mickie James, everybody knew who Mickie James was, but she did come out with the Impact Knockouts title. This year was a little bit different because, of course, Jordynne Grace wasn't really known by a lot of people, but it was still a great moment. And with Naomi making her return to the WWE at the Royal Rumble as well, seeing both Naomi and Jordynne Grace a part of the Royal Rumble, the crowd clearly knew what they were watching because of the history that both Jordynne Grace and Naomi had in TNA a couple of weeks ago. Now, could this mean that the partnership between WWE and TNA continue? I don't think this is a major partnership. I think this was just a one and done deal, but hey, you never know. I mean, there is a new regime in WWE and they do a lot of things differently than the previous regime, so we're going to have to wait and see. But the fact that Jordynne Grace, as the TNA Knockouts champion, showed up at the Royal Rumble, that was a great moment, to say the least. In our final story, we got updates on both Naomi and Andrade El Idolo. Both, according to Fightful, have re-signed with WWE. Andrade finished up with AEW at World's End, and most everybody in the company knew that he was headed back to the WWE, as he made it clear that he wouldn't be returning to AEW. Many in both WWE and AEW actually expected him to debut earlier than he did because they thought WWE may pull the visual that they were able to snag away an AEW star who had appeared on pay-per-view just 2 days prior. As of this afternoon, Andrade was scheduled for tonight's WWE Raw. Charlotte Flair was said to have pushed for his return and was at the Royal Rumble supporting Andrade backstage in a knee brace. Although Charlotte is on the SmackDown brand, she's sidelined for the near future, so there wasn't any big urgency to have him on SmackDown. Now, as far as Naomi, she has also re-signed with the WWE and is expected to appear for the SmackDown brand, Fightful has been told. Naomi, who had performed in TNA under her real name Trinity, had been open with other talent that she was headed back to the WWE and is likely appearing at the Royal Rumble, in which she did. Those that Fightful has spoke to in TNA said that things were pretty clear by the start of the year and that Naomi would be wrapping up. Fightful has been told that WWE had maintained interest in Naomi for over a year until the unofficial hiring freeze happened, and by the time that was lifted, she had obligations to TNA. Overall thoughts on this? I mean, this was pretty much expected. I mean, once Andrade showed up at the Royal Rumble and once Naomi showed up at the Royal Rumble, I think it was pretty obvious that they were going to re-sign with the company. And it comes to no shock if you really think about it. Andrade, after World's End, we all know where he was headed. He finished up with AEW at the World's End pay-per-view, losing to Miro, and he looked really good in that match. And we all knew that Andrade was on his way out of the company, as well as Naomi when it comes to TNA. It looked like she was going to finish up with TNA after Hard to Kill, but she still wrestled a couple of matches after that, and I believe she finished up with TNA at the Orlando Impact taping, so it was obvious that both Naomi and Andrade were headed back to WWE, and if you really think about it, they fit much better, especially Andrade. Andrade fits much better in the WWE than he did in AEW, because if you really think about it, there was no sense of direction when it came to Andrade in AEW. He had great matches, yeah, but again, when it came to his character, there was just no direction whatsoever. As far as Naomi, this is a great get for the WWE as well. Of course, also, when it comes to both Naomi and Andrade, Andrade is married to Charlotte, who is in the WWE, and of course, Naomi, aka Trinity, is married to Jimmy Uso, who is also in the WWE as well. So I think it was pretty much set in stone that they were going to make their way back to World Wrestling Entertainment. And that was WrestleHavoc Daily. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the WrestleHavoc channel, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the Squared Circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the Virgin Referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And as always, it is yours truly, Flamin' Ricky DeRays, signing out. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.